Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and thank you all for tuning in here on this lovely, well, not really lovely, too much outside, kind of rainy, kind of damp here in Lafayette, Louisiana, but we're used to it, so we'll just ride it out. So, all right, here I'm going to talk to you about some opening weekend of LSU softball and Louisiana Ragin Cajuns softball. Now, they've had a couple of games being played since then, and we're just going to get right down to it. All right. It's just going to be me on the show today. We got nobody else, so we'll just do what we can. All right, the last game LSU played this past weekend was against Florida A&M, and they ended up beating them 8-0 in 5 innings. So, I mean, that game was a complete blowout. Florida A&M never really got anything going for themselves, not even managing to score a single run in the whole entire game. So, but, a lot of times in the early season of softball, you'll get games like this to where a team is just going to dominate another team. And Florida A&M is not known for their softball or anything like that. So, Alea Andrews got things started for the Tigers with a leadoff walk, then stole second to put a runner in scoring position. Andrews advanced on a sacrifice fly from Sasuri to put a runner on the corner with 2 outs. George Clark blasted her second home run of the season on a 3-0 pitch to put the Tigers on board first 2-0. The Tiger defense came out strong, and they retired 10 straight batters. Shelby Sensuri dealt in the circle, tallying 4 strikeouts through that stretch there. Taylor Pleasance grabbed a leadoff walk in the bottom of the inning, and Raylene Gutierrez recorded an infield single that put runners on first and second. Andrews added another walk to load the bases for the Tigers. Savannah Stewart walked, which played at Pleasance from third, giving the Tigers a 3-0 lead. The Lady Rattlers threatening the top of the 4th as they loaded the bases with 2 outs. But quick defense got the Tigers out of the inning. In the bottom half of that inning, Taylor Tidwell walked to lead off, and Sierra Briggs laid down a bunt to advance the runner. There was an error on the throw, and Tidwell scored from first. Briggs also scored to make the score 5-0 LSU. Pleasance led off the bottom of the 5th for the Tigers with a 2-out single to the right center gap. Gutierrez singled over the middle of the field, which put runners on the corners for the Tigers. Tidwell dribbled off of the wall to drive in Pleasance, and Gutierrez. Briggs then sealed the deal for the Tigers with a single down the left field line to drive in Tidwell. Susiri earned the win in the circle, improving to 2-0 on the season. She allowed no runs and recorded 5 strikeouts. Florida A&M's Naya Zentino took the loss for the Lady Rattlers, allowing 6 earned runs and 2 earned runs. So that was basically a breakdown of how the game actually went. Not really too much going on in that game, like I said earlier. But, it's kind of the beginning of the season. You're going to have some rest on these teams. It's going to be a lot of mistakes happen with the Florida A&M with the 2 errors that they had. And it just was a very good effort all around for the Lady Tigers. All right. Now that I caught you up with the latest win for the LSU softball team, I will revisit LSU later on. They won a very big game this past weekend, but I wanted to say that later. So let's talk about the Cajuns here. We're going to kind of combine 2 games that they played. They played on Friday and Saturday, trying to get everything, kind of all boxed up and ready to go. All right, the top 10 ranked Louisiana Ragin Cajuns softball experienced a narrow defeat in a classic pitchers duel and enjoyed a runaway victory with fireworks on Saturday in its final action of the opening weekend of the 2020 season. The Ragin Cajun 3-1 fell to North Texas in a 2-1 contest decided on a late ending home run to start the day, but bounced back immediately when an 8-run explosion in the 4th inning catapulted the squad to an 11-1 win over UTSA, which was in 5 innings. They got that done. It was a scoreless contest with the Mean Green. They're 3-1 right now. through 3 innings before both teams swapped run-scoring singles in the 4th inning. Alyssa Dalton greeted a reliever, Hope Trotwain, with a RBI shot into center field for Louisiana's tally. It remained a deadlock affair until the 7th inning when pinch hitter Courtney Williams provided the game-winning run for North Texas with a solo shot to the left field to lead off the frame. Despite the defeat, Megan Kleiss shined in her second start as a Ragin' Cajun. She yielded only 1 earned run, scattered 5 hits, and struck out 11. Dalton finished 2 for 3 at the plate for her first multiple-hit game of the season. Summer Ellison set the tone in the nightcap, carrying a no-hitter into the 5th inning. Julia Rawls got the offense unwound with her first home run of the young season, a towering 3-run blast into the left field bleachers during the 3rd inning. Patience at the plate generated an enormous amount of traffic in the 4th inning for Louisiana as UTSA reliever Clarissa Hernandez walked in 3 of the first 4 runs, which stretched the lead to 7-0. The final blow came when Brittany Holland drove the first pitch from starting pitcher Erica Cortez, who re-entered the game, out of the park for a grand slam that brought the margin into double digits. It was the first home run as a Ragin' Cajun for Holland, who saw her previous 2 seasons ended by injury. Rawls and Holland shared team-leading honors with 4 RBIs. It was Rawls' second multiple RBI outing of the weekend, while the production increased her season total to a team-best 7 RBI. Ellison faced 1 batter over the minimum of her 4 2 3/4 innings in the circle, the lone hit and run coming off a solo home run to lead off the 5th inning. She recorded 8 strikeouts, hitting the mark for the 2nd time in as many starts. So, the Cajuns had an eventful weekend. Their first game they played was against Ball State. They ended up winning that game as well on Friday night. So, they are 3-1 right now. So, right now, kind of looking at what both teams have done, they both done a pretty good job here. It looks like the Mean Green of North Texas is going to be a pretty good ball club this year. We'll see how it goes for them. We'll kind of keep track of them and see how it all goes, because all this stuff adds up toward the end of the season when you're trying to play for seeding in regionals and pairing off national seeds. So, the road to Oklahoma City for both LSU softball and the Ragin' Cajuns is going to be, like, this is only 1 weekend out of many. The Cajuns, they did lose to North Texas last year, early in the year, and they still ended the season with a 50-5 record, in case anybody was keeping count of how it all ended up last year. So, no time to hit the panic button for a national seed if you're a Ragin' Cajun fan. They only lost 1 game so far. They're 3-1 right now, so pretty good jump if they can continue what they did last year. They will play, the LSU and the Ragin' Cajuns will play later on in the season, so it's going to be an interesting one at that to see how it all goes. All right, now let's talk some more LSU softball here. They picked up a big win over number 13 Oklahoma State. It was a pitching duel, if I ever seen one myself. They had to improve at the time to 2-0. But LSU starting pitcher Shelby Wickersham allowed just 4 hits and struck out 4 batters in 6 innings pitched. The Tigers would finally push or run across the bottom of the 6th inning thanks to a Georgia Clark RBI single to bring in Savannah Stewart. So, yeah, so that's basically, and they had a big win there, so, and they ended up playing a doubleheader there against, then they played Florida A&M, which they ended up getting the win over them, so, as you all know. So, now we got that done, softball week, opening weekend. We can now focus on a very interesting topic here. We got LSU baseball and Louisiana Ragin' Cajun baseball starting to come up this weekend here. they were talking about a pack mentality for the Louisiana Ragin' Cajun baseball team. You know, they want to play for Coach Robichaux, who was the head coach for 20 plus years at Louisiana. So it's going to be interesting to see how they end up coming out this opening weekend for the Cajuns, because they're putting a statue in front of Rousseau Park for Coach Rowe, because he did so much for this program at the Ragin' Cajuns baseball program. He literally built that stadium over there. He is just a legend in terms of Ragin' Cajun athletics. He did bring the Ragin' Cajuns to the 2000 series of Omaha. Almost brought him again in 2014 with a super regional loss to Ole Miss. So, all right, the team they will play this opening weekend is Southeastern Louisiana. They play them Friday night. They play Louisiana Tech on Saturday. So that's the first two games they will play this opening weekend. So it's going to be at MLT Moorfield at Rousseau Park. So you can get your tickets right now as they are on sale. If you want to know the countdown, and then Sunday they play Louisiana Tech again, in case you want to know. And then they travel on the road to take on Southeastern Louisiana. And then they play at home against Tulane. Bring your A game at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Oh, man. So, they play Louisiana Tech 3 times this season. They play LSU on April the 7th. When them two ball clubs get paired away. So, a lot of baseball to be played. So, we'll see how it all goes. Matt Deggs, his former team, Sam Houston State, will come to T. Moore Field at Rousseau Park Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, February 28th through March 1st. So that'll be one. That's an interesting series I would like to go see as well. So, but yeah, 4 days, 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 39 seconds right now until first pitch for the Louisiana Ragin' Cajun baseball season. So, now, oh man. Oof. And so far for LSU with their 2020 baseball schedule, LSU will take on Indiana. That's their first pitch. Will be at 7 o'clock on February 14th, which will be Happy Valentine's Day for all the couples and everybody else out there celebrating their love and getting all the chocolates that they want. Let's see. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday be the 3-game series against Indiana. Then on Tuesday they play Southern, and then they go on the road to Thibodaux, take on the Colonels of Nichols. So it's going to be, how do I think both the Cajuns will do this year? I think the Cajuns are going to rebound in baseball from what happened last year. I think they will actually make it to the regionals this upcoming season. LSU, I think they'll make it to the regionals as well. It's just going to be an interesting plate of games to see how it all comes together for them. We don't really know much about these squad this year too much. You got to wait till you play before you can make a projection to see how they do. But I don't know, man. I got a crazy feeling about the Ragin' Cajun baseball team this year. Call me crazy, but I think they might actually get to the Super Regionals this year. There's no basis I have this on. It's just my gut. Because I think of whenever you're a player, and a lot of these players have dealt with Coach Robe and his Robo-isms and all of that, but I think there's something brewing in that ball club. And they were talking about a pack mentality. Like a bunch of wolves prowling around trying to stalk their prey, and this, there's something about that. Because if y'all remember, Matt Deggs was an assistant coach for the Ragin Cajuns during the 2014 season when they made it to the Super Regionals. I think this team's gonna have a grit to them that they haven't had in a couple of years. Like whenever things get down and tough and rough and everything, they will be the team that's gonna come out and make some plays when you need them. I think this is gonna be a very clutch ball club. There's something about this team. I've listened to a bunch of reports. I've listened to interviews. Saw video of them practicing. They even practiced against the 2014 team. Like, there's no basis of what happened last year carrying over to this year that they would have this success, but there's something. There's something there, and I can't put my finger on it. This is one of the few times where I can't really describe how I think this team's going to do. I think they'll make it to the Super Regionals this year. It's going to be my prediction. I don't think they'll make it to Omaha. I think they kind of shock everybody and get a run like they did in 2014. Because, they're kind of due for one. They haven't been to the Super Regionals since 2014. They made it to the Regionals in 2016, which was the last time they won the Sun Belt Conference Championship. They won it in 14, 15, and 16. I do think they're going to win the Sun Belt this year. I think the Cajuns are going to have something this year for them. So we'll see. LSU's had a little bit more stabilized success. I think LSU will make it to Omaha this year. So we're gonna see how it goes for them. They came close last year, LSU. I know. They came close last year and stuff like that, but which LSU they ended up 40-26 last year. Wasn't really good on away games too much. They were 7-13. They wasn't really good at away, but they were pretty good at home. They were 30-10 at home. I guess you could say that makes a big difference here. They ran through the regional, but when they got to the Super Regional against Florida State, they lost 4-6 in their first game, and they ended up losing 4-5 in their second game against the Seminoles. So I think LSU will make it to Omaha this year. I think it's going to be a very good thing for them. So we'll see how it all goes for the Cajuns and the Tigers this year. But, it's going to be an interesting one. So I'm just going to say thank y'all for tuning in here today. It's going to be a fun season of baseball. I can't wait to see how it all plays out and everything else. I'm going to cut it to a 20-minute episode because we don't have much to say here today. Not much really going on. Kind of a dead week. I could talk about the Ragin' Cajuns men's basketball team losing a close one to Georgia Southern, but let's see. If I predict how the Cajuns are going to do this weekend, let me see. Here's what I'm going to pick for. I'm going to pick up to Wednesday for both teams. How about that? That seems like a good estimating here. Cajuns versus Southeastern Louisiana. I think they're going to beat the Lions on Friday and Tuesday, and I think they'll split the Tech series. They usually go 1-1, so give me a 3-1. Let's say they win Saturday and lose Sunday. They got them 3-1 playing Tulane. I think the Cajuns will beat Tulane, so I think they'll be 4-1 heading into the Virginia Tech series. Now, as far as the LSU Tigers, let's see. Let's see what goes on here. All right. I think they sweep Indiana and they beat Southern. And I'm going to get them winning against Nichols. And then I'll do this all over again the next week. Sounds like a good one, don't it? So, yeah, I got LSU being undefeated, 5-0 going to the Eastern Kentucky Series. All right. Thank you all for tuning into the Fishbowl Radio today. I hope you all have a great and wonderful Monday. I will do another broadcast coming up later on today. It's not going to be talking about sports. It's going to be talking about something completely different. I'll do it like tonight, 7, 8 o'clock-ish. So y'all tune in to that there. We're going to start posting more on our Tales from the Fishbowl series, which deals more with society if you don't like sports. We're going to kind of make the Fishbowl Radio more of a broader brand, if I should say. It should be fun. Like, y'all might like this thing and y'all might not like what I have to say. It's going to be more hypothetical than actual fact-based relation. Like, I did a thing, could we live in a world without lying? Would there be more war if we had something like that? Some people say yes, some people say no. It's stuff like that. I have that episode still on Spreaker.com if you want to see that. That's a very interesting topic that I did a couple of years ago. Very fun to do. Kind of talk about how different people think about, because we're all not the same. We're all different kinds of people. So I like doing that because it's fun. It's interesting. I learn more things looking on the web about this kind of stuff. So tune into that podcast later on tonight. But thank y'all for tuning in, Fishbowl Nation. I will see y'all later on tonight, and y'all have a great one.